Hey, how y'all doing? It's your boy, Yobachi. I'm coming back at you about my video, Why Do Mormons Hate Me? Apparently this video has gone way over most people's head, especially the many Mormons who have visited. It's been about 827 visitors thus far, and there's been a lot of consternation about the video and what it means. Many have taken it as an attack on Mormons, completely missing the point of the video and lacking understanding. First of all, in order to understand a video like this, you have to understand the concept of satire. S-A-T-I-R-E. You might want to look it up, study satire. You won't really understand the video if you don't comprehend this concept, which is a satire, sarcasm, routinely goes over people's heads. I noticed this in all facets. Most people just don't have a clue. Even if you didn't study it in school, which you should have gotten in satire in the 8th, 9th, 10th grade. But even if you didn't pay attention to school, just intellectually, you should be able to pick up on it. Anyhow, let's see. Dictionary.com defines satire as the use of irony, sarcasm, ridicule, or the like in exposing, denouncing, deriding vice or folly. Keep that word folly in mind, because that's going to come back into play and me describing my video, Why Do Mormons Hate Me? So let's keep that in mind, the word folly, because that's what really this video addresses, a fallacious ideology that is propagated by Mormons in debates about scripture and the positions of the church. They use a lot of folly. Okay, to further explain satire, there's a Wikipedia article that states satire is often strictly defined as a literary genre or form, although in practice it is also found in the graphic and performing arts. This would be performing arts, my video. In satire, human or individual vices, follies, abuses, or shortcomings are held up to censure by means of ridicule, derision, burlesque, irony, or other methods, ideally with the intent to bring about improvement. Although satire is usually meant to be funny, the purpose of satire is not primarily humor in and of itself, so much as an attack on something of which the author strongly disapproves, using the weapon of wit. A very common, almost defining feature of satire is its strong vein of irony or sarcasm, but parody, burlesque, exaggeration, juxtaposition, comparison, analogy, and double entendre are all frequently used in satirical speech and writing. The essential point, however, is that in satire, irony is militant. This militant irony, or sarcasm, often professes to approve the very thing the satire actually wishes to attack. That's just to give you a little bit of an idea about what satire is. For me to try to give this a more layman explanation of satire, what satire does is you kind of use a humorous approach to make a point about something. So you kind of exaggerate the issue, and you try to use humor to bring out a point that you want to get across, so that the point is highlighted in a way that those people will understand it, as opposed to just giving an intellectual dissertation. So it's kind of a more entertaining way and a more poignant way of getting at an issue. And the issue that I'm getting at with my video is about how Mormons so often, especially you can see it here on YouTube, if you ever have to deal with any Mormons in discussing the history of the Mormon church, in discussing doctrines of Christianity, or discussing scripture, you'll find that if you take any type of disagreeable position with them, if you highlight anything that you have a problem with in their doctrine, if you highlight the contradictions in their historical facts about stances the church has taken as far as things such as their prophets are that the prophets have to be right in spiritual things, and that if one prophet said one thing and another one said something else and they're completely contradictory, then that totally negates the notion that the prophet is speaking directly from God, or anything along those lines. I'm not even going to get into those issues, but just the point that you will point that out. Therefore, you are spewing hate against Mormons. and they felicitously and without base accuse anybody of hate as a device of deflection. So instead of dealing with the issue, what they'll do is they'll insult and attack the person with ad hominem attacks, and they'll attack the individual, whether they are a hateful person or not, even if they're not saying anything such as all Mormons are bad. They're not calling Mormons evil. I understand that Mormons are individuals just like anybody else. Plenty of Mormon people are perfectly fine people. Many of them are probably great people. There are many things about the Mormon faith and religion that I can respect, and the ones, especially the ones who actually live by what they believe, I definitely respect them. And so we could say a lot of flattering things about Mormons as individuals. Even some of the work that the Mormon Church does is very is to be commended. But even if you make all those type of acknowledgments and you're addressing an issue, addressing a doctrine, pointing out how they've changed. For instance, they say the Book of Mormon is the truest book there is. Yet they've changed the Book of Mormon to fit into society, into the times of society. They've actually gone back into that book and have changed wording and doctrines to fit the norms of modern times. But if you point that out and you say that, which is a complete 100% undeniable fact, you hate Mormons. You're spewing hate. You're a hateful person. And that's an insidious attack upon a person, to call them a hateful person, to say that they hate other people. It's downright wrong. It's not acceptable. And I've called them on it in this video. And so I was kind of pointing out, well, if you're going to play that game, well, then if that's okay for you to say, then it's okay for me to say that all Mormons hate me, because you must not want me to go to heaven because you won't show me your secret signs. So if you can just attach hate to someone just baselessly, then if you want to play that game can be turned back on to you. And that is the issue I'm addressing in the video. It's done in a satirical manner. If you listen to my voice, how I speak in it, it's clearly and obviously satirical. I really can't help if it's over some people's heads. I mean, if you are not able to follow, there's really not much I can do about that. I cannot dummy myself down so to such minuscule speech in such minuscule ways that if you just can't follow, you just can't follow. There's nothing I can do about that. Nonetheless, that does not make me wrong that you are not able to follow something that's clear and obvious. It's completely obvious. I mean, my voice is so exaggerated and just the way I say things in it, and the whole methodology that I use is obviously a satire, and it's obviously meant to be sarcastic and to make a point. And the way I set it up at the beginning by saying that anytime you deal with Mormons and you have a disagreement with them, they call that hate. And then I go into the whole satire of it. So I set it up basically explicitly stating the point. So even though I explicitly state the point, even though my voice is clearly exaggerated and the whole way I go about it is kind of goofy, somehow some people choose to take it 100% seriously, as if I'm saying this is a fact that Mormons hate me, when it's obvious I'm not. So you just have to take it for what it is. And if some people can't understand that, there's not a whole lot I can do about it. I don't apologize for it at all. There's nothing wrong with the piece. I think it's right on point, and so be it. And that's what it's all about. I would say to Mormons or anyone else out there, if you do not want people to attach labels to you that do not accurately describe you, that denigrate who you are, that are accusations. Actually, they are. It's a pretty vicious accusation to call somebody, basically calling them a hate monger and saying they hate people. If you do not want people to do that to you, then you shouldn't do it to other people. And that's the point that the video makes. And if you're claiming you're of a loving God, How can you go around baselessly attacking people and calling them hateful when you have no basis to do it? When you know you're being disingenuous. You know that the person is not being hateful. But instead of dealing with the issue that they're bringing up, you'd rather attack them with an insult and an accusation rather than deal with that issue. If you don't want to deal with the issue, then go on about your business. But stop attacking people with this insidious claim. Not a very good representation of your church, and the fact that it's done so systematically by so many Mormons, I think is a bad representation of your own people. You got to be ashamed of yourself. I'm not ashamed of myself for making that video. And that's how it goes. I'm Yobachi. I'm at Yobachi 2007. That's my page here on YouTube. YOBACHI 2007. Peace.